I was like, click, I figured it out. And when I did that, I started working on myself. And when I worked on myself, I started Genius Unlocked. I had a business partner at the time, no longer, but I did at the time. I had a business partner at the time. And we wanted to really go out there and explore the integration between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Like, how do you consciously want something? You deserve it. You all deserve it. How do you unconsciously, how is it stopping you? It's like, you're like, woo, like you're going on this little path and then your unconscious mind's like, oh, not that. They're like, oh, that's too safe, or that's unsafe, or I'll do that. My clients say this, Jen, I'll do everything you say except that thing. And I'm like, that thing that I'm having you do
that thing is just what you need to do.
So we talk about, breaking your income ceiling. It's shattering your income ceiling, because it's that next level that once you deserve that, you need to step into the person that you are.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. Oh, how I love to talk about money. Not from the old paradigm of chasing or proving, but from a place of soulful alignment, deep self-trust, and spacious possibility. Your income is never just about strategy or effort. It's shaped by the beliefs and energy behind it. It's a mirror, a reflection of how open we are to receiving, how connected we are to our value, how alive we are in our purpose. And even more than that, it's shaped by the stories we've carried for a lifetime. Stories about worth, enoughness, and power that were often handed to us long before we could choose them. I know, and I have my own stories. We all have our own money stories. And I want you to be thinking about, what are your money stories? These money imprints passed down through family and culture and experience live in our bones, and they quietly shape what we allow in. Today's guest knows this intimately. I'm so excited to introduce you to Jenn Beninger, one of our extraordinary speakers for this year's Extraordinary Women Ignite conference. In this episode, Jenn shares her journey of building a 7-figure coaching institute and the money story she had to face, feel, and rewire to rise into the leader she is today. At Ignite, Jenn will be teaching her Wealth Code, a beautiful soul-led framework for shifting the unconscious patterns that block prosperity and anchoring into the version of you who already knows how to lead, receive, and grow with joy. Her work is such a powerful match for this year's theme, Rooted Flame. Because when we strip away what isn't ours and root into who we really are, that's when we light up. That's when we rise. If you haven't grabbed your ticket to Ignite yet, I invite you to join us this November in Colorado. Head to CamiGellner.com/Ignite. We've got early bird tickets available right now, so jump on over there and grab a ticket. And over the next month, I will be introducing you to some of the extraordinary women who will be lighting up the stage at this year's Ignite. These are women who walk their talk, lead with heart, and are bringing powerful wisdom to help you raise up your voice, your visibility, and your business. Each speaker is here to help you expand what's possible, because when we gather in community, rooted in purpose and lit by our inner flame, big breakthroughs happen. I've been doing Ignite for 10 years already. This will be my 11th year of doing it, and I know that big breakthroughs happen every year. So be sure to tune in each week over the next month as we meet more of the women who will be taking the stage this year, each one bringing her own spark, her own story, and her own medicine for your journey. And if you're feeling the call, come join us. This is your invitation to step into a room filled with soul-powered women, igniting your next level. Head over to CamiGellner.com/Ignite and claim your seat. Now, let's meet Jenn Beninger. Well, welcome back to Extraordinary Women Radio, Jenn. I'm thrilled to have you back with us today.
I am so excited to be here. I so much enjoyed our conversation last time, and it's an honor to be asked back. And I can't wait to have this new conversation with all of the listeners here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm even more excited you are coming to Colorado this November to be be a speaker at Extraordinary Women Ignite. So that's going to be amazing.
Can I tell you a little bit while I'm excited? Number one, I'm excited because to be one of the sponsors and to speak there and share this and just raise the vibration of the women of the world and do all of the things that we can to collaborate and to succeed. Can I tell you a little bit of a personal side of why I'm excited?
Totally.
So I actually grew up. Well, I grew up there. I lived there from when I was 6 to when I was 13 in Colorado.
Oh, I didn't know this.
And I am a die-hard Denver Bronco fan. So I
Yay!
tried to see if there was a Bronco game that was going to be playing. Now, again, I know we're going to be, this might not be outdated if you listen to this after the summit or the event. And it's actually Thursday night of the VIP. And I was like, my heart was broken. I was hoping it was be a Sunday game so I could
Yeah.
stay and watch the
Yeah.
game. But I grew up watching football. I met John Elway his rookie year when I was like
Yeah.
12 years old. And
Yeah.
so I actually told my family, I was like, I'm going to Colorado. They're like, are you going to a Bronco game? I said, no, I'm not going to make it. So I do have a very special place in my heart for Colorado. And so that was another really exciting reason. But that's just a little fun personal side note on why I'm
I
excited.
love it. I'm a Bronco
Uh,
fan, a lifetime Bronco fan, because I'm a native of Colorado, and so I grew up here, and we're gonna have a good team this year. I'm
Oh,
excited.
I can't.
So
Oh, I'm so excited. It's been a while since I've been there and can't, and maybe, I don't want it to be snowing too bad because I want everybody to come out to us, but just the mountains and just being in that space is going
yeah,
to bring back a lot of amazing memories for me. So I'm just really, really excited to be coming for the business side of it. Of course, I want to help rise
yeah,
that vibration. I want to help with your
yeah.
cause, your mission, your vision. Any place that I can add some of my genius and my ability to support you with that, that's the number one reason. And the second one is I just want to come back and visit where I grew
Colorado.
up.
Yeah, I love it. I totally love it. Well, it's a good time of year actually to come to Colorado. We've been, I've been hosting this event in Colorado for this is be my 11th year of doing it. And knock on wood, we've always had really beautiful weather.
Yeah.
So, it's like it's that season can go either way, but I always feel like, it's just we got the weather gods behind us taking
Yes, we
care
do.
of
Well, it's
us.
also my birthday month, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
like go hang out with Cami, check. Go help women with Ignite, check. Go hang out, check. Go during your birthday month, check. Like I am probably the most excited of all the speakers coming to your event. I'm just going to tell you
I
that right
love
now.
it. I love it. Oh, I can't wait. And I can't wait to be in person with you too, because I think that's going to be the other fun. That's what always one of the best pieces is actually, you and I have met online, but we've never actually gotten to meet face to face. So that'll be awesome. Let's
Right.
start with a bit of your story. You've built a 7-figure company. You talk about money mindset. You've built a really incredible organization. Tell us a little bit about that journey that got you to this place. I mean, what's some of the biggest ahas, the biggest moments that really helped you get here?
I love that question, and I appreciate you asking about that because some people just want to know, like, how do I do it, and they don't really
Yeah.
understand, the journey of what it takes
It's
to
never a straight line, right?
It's never a straight line. I use that quote a lot. It's like, did you all know that on the rocket on the way to the moon is of course about 97% of the time, and the entire time it's going to the moon, it's tweaking and going sideways and then coming back and going sideways and coming back. So that's our journey to our success that we want. So
Yeah.
the journey, I mean, it started a hot minute ago. I don't know. I might look 20. I'm just kidding. But I started in my 20s. I started my first business in 1997.
Oh
And
my
I was in corporate
gosh.
America. I live in corporate
Uh-huh.
America. I live
Uh-huh.
in, Silicon Valley, where corporate America is. A little known company called WebMD was my very first
I know
corporate
the
job.
company. Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't in alignment with me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, be out in the entrepreneur world. And this is a true belief of mine in our company is being an entrepreneur is the number one form of personal development, in my opinion. I
Oh,
think people who
totally.
are out
All
there
day
being an
long.
entrepreneur,
Yeah.
they have a judge inside of them that is like, I'm going to go out there because you're going to probably personally develop the most and the fastest because you're really the buck stops with you. And so I knew that corporate America was where I was going to start because I had that mindset. So the reason I'm telling you this part of the story going so far back is it's about what is your mind, how is your mind wired for money? What is the mindset that you were given? Like, I don't know if you all know this, but like 80% of your thoughts are actually not your own. They were
Mm-hmm.
given to you from your environment from 0 to 7. So
Mm.
when you're looking at your money mindset, and what I had to look at my money mindset was from how did you grow up? Like I grew up in Colorado. Like I remember I was there I moved there when I was 6 years old. So I don't remember too much before that, but from 6 years old, I lived in Colorado. My parents, it was like the 1st and the 15th. They had their ledger out. They had the adding machine. They, did all, it was like my brother and I had pizza that night and we're not allowed to go in the living room. My parents didn't fight about money, but we lived
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with the money mindset of just enough. We had
Mm-hmm.
enough for one car. and you know, one new car every 3 years. We had enough for a 2-week vacation. We had enough to, you know, have a moderate Christmas. Like I just grew up with, it's just enough. So I brought that through my life.
Yeah.
And then I also grew up with the other mindset that my grandfather, what my mom's dad, was an entrepreneur. And all I heard out of my family, including my parents, and I tell them this now and they laugh. They're like, oh, I didn't realize we messed you up so bad. I'm like, it's okay. That's what our parents, I have 2 kids. It's like, that's what we do. We're supposed to do that as parents. And I grew up hearing money mindset that my grandfather was a shyster. And I was like, I don't know what that means. It's like, he's a shyster. And I'm like, how specifically? So we would tell ourselves these stories, right? And we grew up, ladies, my grandfather sold real estate. So I'm like, if a real estate agent is a shyster, I don't understand. But I didn't know that growing up. I'm like, ooh,
Right.
you know, Papa Jack, you know, he's a shyster. And I was like, what does that mean? Well, he sold real estate. So what does that mean? Which means when he sold a house, he'd have a big wad. Now, yes, he had a little bit of an ego. It's okay. But he had a wad of cash that he walked around with all the time. And then when he ran out of cash, you know, like one night he'd have steak and lobster. And the next night my mom's like, and then we had, you know, like biscuits and gravy. And I said, okay, well, maybe he didn't manage his money the way that you all would like to have him had managed his money, but he sure as heck wasn't what I had told in my mind, like a bad guy. He sold real estate in Lake Tahoe for like 40 years. Like it wasn't even like, it was crazy. Yeah. So I grew up with all of that. So I tell you those little parts of my story. For those of you that are listening, write down, you know, this was some of the things we're going to dive deeper in is what were you told? So then I was told, go to college, which I did, get married, which I did, get a job, which I did, have a family, buy a house, which I did. And so, but I was like, I wasn't happy. I really had that entrepreneurial spirit. And during that time, I also, you know, so I was not living my life. I could put it that way. So does anybody else feel like you weren't living, you were living the life that you were told you were supposed to live?
Sure.
And I was successful. I mean, it was great. And I started my first business as a wedding consultant, believe it or not, because I got married and I had a wedding consultant. I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. So I just went and started a business. Has anybody else like done that? Just been like, oh, that sounds fun. And just go start a business. So I did that for 10 years and was very successful. And then during that time, my ex-husband, that's okay. My husband at the time, we were struggling to have our family. So I struggled with infertility for about 4 years. So then this is where I'm not good enough came up. We did everything right. I had a job. I was going to wear the red power suit. We bought a house. He had a career in law enforcement. I had a career. I was doing all the things I thought I was supposed to do, and I wasn't able to have a family. Yeah. So I decided that being true to myself and being in alignment with myself was more important than anything else. So I came home and I told my husband at the time, I was like, oh yeah, just so you know, I quit my job. I was making a little bit more than him because I was in corporate and he had just started his law enforcement career. And he's like, you did what now? He's like, that's over 50% of our income that you just decided that you weren't going to do anymore. And I said, I understand, but I'm not, I had to be in alignment because I was tired of feeling alone. I was tired of feeling lost. I was tired of feeling unfulfilled. So I don't know if any of you all felt that way. So I stepped out and I started my first business, but my money story didn't really change. Then I fast forward. I won't give you a year by year. So I fast forward, and I don't know if any of you also felt like that, but your income kind of went up and then it went down, and then went up and then it went down. Yeah. And it just, and my husband at the time, he had a very steady paycheck, right? He knew exactly, he got incremental raises. His, law enforcement, their income's posted in the newspaper. Like everybody knew how much he made, and I'm making money, losing money, making money, losing money, because I had a mindset around also that I couldn't make more money than my husband.
So that was another story you've got. And we've all got all of our stories, right? I mean, we've got all these lines of stories that come in and shape our money wellness, if you will.
And that's exactly right. And so that's what we'll dive a little bit deeper of that at the event. And then I was like, okay, but I want it. So I don't understand the disconnect. So I don't know if any of the rest of you feel disconnected. You're like, wait, I want this. What's missing? Why am I not getting it? Or have you hit goals? Have you set goals and hit them? You're like, how come it works sometimes and doesn't work the other time? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. It's some of those stories that you're telling yourself. So then I realized I wasn't making enough money. Well, then my husband, now fast forward, my husband is making multiple 6 figures. I'm making multiple 6 figures. And we were arguing about what credit card to put toilet paper on.
Oh, gosh.
Seriously. We were just broke at a different level. So has anybody ever
Yeah.
felt that? You're like, wait, I'm making, $1 million, but I'm spending $1,000,001. I'm making $100,000. I'm spending 101. I'm making 50,000. Why do I have all this debt? So now we're $150,000 in debt. We're both making multiple six figures, and we couldn't figure out. Now his money story was the opposite. His money to him was used as a weapon because his parents were divorced when he was little. They divorced when he was like 6 years old, and they used money to compete with each other. So
interesting.
he got 2 brand new cars when he turned 16. I didn't get one. I never had a brand new car. I'm like, you got 2? And his mom bought him the practical, like the one that he wanted, and his dad bought him an IROC convertible. So that's, again, we're talking 80s, 90s, right?
Yeah.
You're like, what the Christmas is happening right now? So he grew up with money as a weapon.
Okay.
So he would repel money. And to me, I'm like, ooh, it's bad to be an entrepreneur. And I never wanted to disappoint my family. Now, none of this is done consciously. We're not sitting over here going, well, I don't want to disappoint my dad today, so I think I'm going to lose $10,000 in a bad real estate deal, right? Like, we don't consciously think about those things, but it's how we're wired unconsciously. So fast forward, and, now I'm a business coach. So how many of you have heard that metaphor or that analogy, the cobbler's children's shoes? The cobbler's children never had shoes because the cobbler was so busy making other people's shoes that his kids had no shoes. So that was my thing, is I could make other people a lot of freaking money. I knew as a business coach. So I left corporate America. I went into business coaching because I'm like, I can, I'm making multiple six figures in my business, and I can help others do the same. So I'm giving them all the tools. And I don't know if any of the rest of you, maybe you felt this way. And I'm like, okay, if you just do this, you're going to make this next six figures. You do this, you'll hit your $1 million. If you do this. And I'm over here going, why are you not doing what I'm telling you to do? Just do this and you'll do it. So think about it, all of you that are listening right now. What are the things that you need to do that you're not doing? And you don't know why. Like, why am I not making those sales calls? Why am I not doing this? First of all of you need to get your booty to the event, because we'll help you do all of that. So make sure your buying a ticket to the event is non-negotiable. Get your ticket to the event. Get your little booty there. But there's those things that you're supposed to do that you're not doing. So I spent about 6 years as a business coach, and I was helping people make, a lot of money, but they wanted to expend. Okay. So again, none of this I'm not trying to impress any of you. I'm just impressing upon you the cycles that people go to. And I don't care what level that you're at. So none of this, I'm just like a human, just like everybody else. It's not to impress anybody. And I finally, I was like, why are they not doing it? So at this time, I'm starting to have some struggles in my marriage. And so I found my first coaching certification. So I do have 16 now. I'm one of only 150 internationally accredited master trainers. And some of the stuff that I teach, again, not to impress you, just to show you that I'm obsessed with how the brain works. I'm obsessed in trying to figure out what is going on in our mindset and our story that is preventing us from going and getting the next thing that we want. So I walked into my first training. My very, very first coaching certification was NLP, Neuro Linguistic Program. That was my first one. I have a gazillion after that. And I remember walking in, and it was the foundational concepts. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to save my marriage. And I was, at the end, I was able to save myself, because I realized all of the things that we talk about was the first step there. So then I was like, eureka. I was like, aha. So I went back to all my clients. I was like, I know why you're not doing what I'm doing. And I completely transformed my entire business. And I said, look, it takes your genius, which is Genius Unlocked is my company. You take your genius, and we've got to unlock the money code, the wealth code, whatever we're going to call it, the fancy word we're going to call it. We're going to undo it. And we're going to program your mind for abundance and success, and let those money stories be. And I went back into my clients, and I shifted from being just a business coach to being this, and a lot of people do mindset, and I'm okay with that. I love that people do that. It's really about reprogramming and understanding the depths of where these come. Because if you really want to know, what is really stopping you is that in that 0 to 7, because I also have a degree in psychology. So I did think I was going to be a therapist for a while. Is from 0 to 7, that's where you get most of your thoughts. They're given to you. You're giving those. And then what you do is that then when you experience some things, there's a need that didn't get met down in those 0 to 7 age group. There's needs that didn't get met. whether it was safety, security, deservingness, worthiness, whatever that is for you. It's different for everybody. Then what happens is then you start creating an identity to basically to feel to be safe. So you've now suppressed your true genius, your true, like, why are you here? Because there's needs that didn't get met. You're now suppressing the identity because maybe you didn't feel safe. I was told growing up, my same grandfather that we all thought was a shyster, I also grew up with women were to be seen and not heard. Okay. And I was the oldest. I was a girl and I talked a lot. I was the only grandchild that would be sent from the dinner table because I wouldn't be quiet. I was very curious. I asked a lot of questions. I was very stubborn. And I grew up thinking that that was a fault. So I would suppress who I truly was and I would hide and I would shrink. And then I ended up in a relationship that wasn't serving me, that was very toxic towards the end because I didn't feel like I could have a voice. But it started back here. So we've got to find that need that didn't get met way, way, way down here and bring that identity that was suppressed out into the world. So that's how we're different on that mindset shift. It's not just about rewiring,
it's actually deeper. It's like going deep inside and it's like what needs to come forth that's not come forth, right? It's like really letting that break through.
It's really, because then when you step into that version of you, then that's where the success, really starts happening. So I started realizing that. So now I've integrated the conscious mind coaching that I was doing before. I'm just, doing business coaching and then getting into the unconscious mind, which was the rewiring. So then I realized that I had patterns. Anybody else have patterns in their life? So like you make money, you lose money, you make money, you lose money. How about you date the same person? How about you marry the same person? We have clients that have been married 3 or 4 times and they're like, I just realized I married my father, I married my mother, I married my last spouse, whatever that is. Or you date the same type of person or you have the same type of boss, no matter what job you go to. What's that Dr. Seuss book I love? Let's see if I can, I got to get better at remembering exactly. Wherever you go, you're there. That's one of his books. So it's wherever you go, you're there. So the thing is you don't change the people around you. You have to change inside of you. So there's different people around you. So if you keep jumping to the same person that you're dating, the same person that you're marrying, to the same job, to the same boss, to the same type of friends, you just keep jumping, thinking it's going to be different somewhere else. When in reality, you're the one that needs to change because wherever you go, you're there. Which means you're taking all your shiitake mushrooms, I call it. My kids were little when I started this work. I couldn't say shit. So I had to say shiitake mushrooms. So you take your shiitake mushrooms with you, and then you just create that experience again because your unconscious mind is trying to get you to learn something. So finally, I figured that out. I was like, click. I figured it out. And when I did that, I started working on myself. And when I worked on myself, I started Genius Unlocked. I had a business partner at the time, no longer, but I did at the time. I had a business partner at the time. And we wanted to really go out there and explore the integration between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Like, how do you consciously want something? You deserve it. You all deserve it. How do you unconsciously, how is it stopping you? It's like, you're like, woo, like you're going on this little path and then your unconscious mind's like, oh, not that. They're like, oh, that's too safe or that's unsafe. Or I'll do that. My clients say this, Jen, I'll do everything you say except that thing. And I'm like, that thing that I'm having you do
is just what you need to do.
So we talk about, breaking your income ceiling. It's it's shattering your income ceiling because it's that next level that once you deserve that, you need to step into the person that you are. So when I started doing that, when I went through a transformation, I went from being in corporate. Well, I left corporate, but I was director of coaching for another company. And when I left to start Genius Unlocked, that was a toxic environment for me to be in, for me to learn all the things I needed to learn. And then I had a toxic friendship, and then I had a toxic business partnership, and then I had a toxic husband. I mean, I had one business partner that embezzled all of our money and moved to Arizona while I was on vacation in Hawaii. Like, who does that?
Gosh. Yeah.
Because I needed to look at.
But you had some patterns going on. Is what you were saying. What you were seeing there is these patterns, and you had to go deeper to pull.
Once I did that, the divorce was amazing. It was amicable. He now lives in Florida with his new wife. I'm happy and loving life in California. My kids are thriving. My oldest is getting married. My youngest just graduated high school. Like last week, I don't know when you're listening to this, but last week for when I'm recording it, my youngest daughter graduated from high school. Business is booming. So I think your question, like 75 minutes ago, was, what's your journey? So I try to teach through my story because it's kind of boring. Just to here, this is all about Jen. Let me teach you the story. So what I realized and how I went from making money, losing money to arguing what credit card toilet paper on to making multiple six figures, but having nothing to show for it, was I reprogrammed it. And this all happened during the pandemic year. Is we had our first seven figures. We'd been in business for 2 years, and we had our first seven figures during that pandemic year for everything that I just told you. Is we went inside, we said, okay, what is not working? What identity needed to thrive? I'd gone through the divorce. Again, depending on when you're listening to this. So I've been divorced for almost 5 years. The business was booming, and each level you go in your income, you have new income ceilings to break through. Right. So that was another thing, is it's never one and done. So one of the key pieces that got us to catapult into that seven figures was realizing that the first 100,000 is always first. I was on a call earlier today, as I was telling Cammie, I was on a call earlier today with our clients, and she's like, oh my God, I got my first client. She goes, I went through all of the process. I did a breakthrough, and I went and got my first client. So we were celebrating her like nobody's freaking business. Like, that first client is actually more impressive to me than hitting seven figures or even your first six figures, because that's step one.
Yeah.
Then we celebrate six figures. Then we go from there. But each level, this is my point in all of this, is each level, you've got to be willing to break through your shiitake mushrooms that are keeping you through. Like, when I started Genius Unlocked with $7,000, that's it. It's $7,000 in a desire to, again, depending on where you're listening to this, to a multi-seven-figure business later, or just the first million in the first 2 years. I did not think when I first started that I had to be the CEO of a multi-seven-figure business with 10 employees that are W-2 in 5 states. I didn't think, and I'm only telling you this, think about the mindset. When I started, I was like, oh my God, we got our first client. That's all I knew, is me and $7,000. I'm like, what, right. In my business part, like $7,000. Now I have meetings with attorneys, and I have meetings with financial planners. California just passed a new law that all my employees, we already had this in place, and I had to know what the law was, that they all have to have 401ks. And I was like, because California requires you all to have a retirement plan now for all of your employees. I didn't think about that when we first started the business. So this is what I want you all to hear. Wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. Then you grow into the person that gets to the next level. Yeah. That's how you thrive. That's how you go to the next level. Is I had to grow painstakingly, make mistakes, go, oops, I hired a bookkeeper that was not really a good bookkeeper. And I have a tax person, my next CPA is like, this is quite a mess. I said, I'm sorry. I'm not smart. Was I not smart enough? Did I hire the wrong person? He's like, no, you're just growing. So I had a CPA that was working with like a sole proprietor, and I'm a double S Corp LLC partnership, blah, 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 things I don't even know. And he's like, you grow through it. So I want to give you this before she asks me her next question, before we hang up here. You're like, one question and we're done, is you have everything inside of you. It's just a matter of stepping into that next phase and releasing that story, which I'm not asking anybody to do on their own. You can't see the label from inside the jar. You're in your jar of shiitake mushrooms and you can't see the label. That's what coaches are for. That's what events like this are for. This is why you have community. This is why you have collaboration. This is why you have, coaches and whatnot, is because they can see what you can't see. And we always see you 10 steps higher than you ever see yourself.
Yeah.
And that's my mission. But that's how I got there. That was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. And I love this story but you wove in a lot of beautiful teachings in there. And I think, what I'm hearing is like, it's this deep inner work. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Is like, being an entrepreneur is the biggest personal growth work I've ever done in my life. And it's like, every time I'm going to a new level, it's what takes me there. Is that inner growth. It's like, we have to clear through the noise that is there and open that door. So our theme at Ignite is Rooted Flame. So it's really very much about staying grounded in who we are, but then also letting our light shine. But it's a lot of the same type of excavation, right? It's like allowing that whatever is there to clear through, to break through, and then opening to letting our lights really shine. So when you think about that, tell us a little bit about what you'll be bringing to Ignite for our people who will be there, the women that are going to be lucky enough to be in the room.
Y'all be in the room, number one. And number two, it really is, my talk is called The Wealth Code. And it's going to be diving deeper into more of these things that I just kind of across the top. talk about. Now, I, I want you all to come in, and I know I talked a lot about like the wealth as in money. I want to add one more piece to this. It's not just about wealth around money, because
Mhm.
wealth is a wealth of everything. So
I
it's a
would
wealth
agree
of
with
health.
that.
It's a wealth
Hmm.
of money. So for
Hmm.
some of you who are like, maybe some of you are coming, you're like, oh, I'm good on the money side of things. Perfect. Or maybe some of you are like, no, that's why I'm coming. That's fine. I just want to add like one more piece to my story to help you understand that this work that I'm going to be sharing, even though it's called the wealth code, it's the wealth of whatever.
Hmm.
Is last year I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mm.
And I just followed my intuition. I talk a lot about alignment and all those things. And I live, Stanford was my oncologist was at Stanford, and I just trusted my intuition and I trusted myself and my mindset and the growth that I've done. That I was not doing traditional therapy was not in alignment with me. Now I have zero judgment about anybody that does anything for themselves. My thing is if you believe 100% that what you're doing will work, it will work.
Right.
So if you believe that traditional therapy is going to work 100%, and I know many people that I've had that are on the other side of any kind of dis-ease, but if you believe 100%, so your mind, that's what I talk about alignment. So I just want to bring in this other piece of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be just about money, because I don't want you to think like, oh, Jenn's just going to talk about money. No, it's the wealth of everything. And I understood that the cancer that I had was a breast cancer was actually the toxicity and the trauma leaving my body. And I do a lot of studies and I do a lot of work in that health. It's all about the mindset. So it's not just mindset, oh, I want to feel better today. How do you rid yourself of cancer with mindset and non-traditional treatments? Well, I did that because 5 months later, my doctor's like, where is it? I said, I don't know where to go. And I
Uh-huh.
did do surgery. I was just
Uh-huh.
below stage 3, which means
Uh-huh.
they really thought it spread. And I said, it didn't spread. And they're like, I really think it spread. Like my tumor was like huge. They're like, it spread. And I'm like, it didn't spread. My mind said it didn't spread. So it didn't spread. And guess what? It didn't
It
spread.
didn't spread. Wow.
So
Wow.
they called me stage 2B. And I'm like, what is that? They're like, it means like you're like, you were centimeters away from being stage 3. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So I chose not to accept that. So I went through and I did all of the same type of work. I connected my mind and my body. I did a massive amount of non-traditional treatments. I didn't just be like, oh, mind, make sure I don't have cancer. No, I did a lot of that, but it wasn't just that. I just found alternative ways and I got inspired and I stepped into who I was and I felt confident and I knew that it was going to go. There's no way if I hadn't have done the work that I've been doing and the mindset that I've been clearing up by, going through the divorce and the business partnerships and, letting all of that go and stop my toxic cycles, I couldn't have
Yeah.
beat the cancer. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have, I had like the universe was like, okay, you need the toxicity needs to go. You need to learn some things. We talk a little bit about, getting the clues of the universe, right? Success
Mhm.
leaves clues.
Yep.
So
Yep.
your mindset leaves clues. And my clue was like, okay. And I flipped. This was just, again, whenever you're listening to this, I mean, I know most of you will be listening to it before the event. So this was in 2024, in April. So we're recording this in, June of 25. I'm not sure if you can cut that out, Cami, if you don't want
No,
them to
that's
know when we're
fine. Yeah,
recording
that's
this.
fine.
And so like, it's not even a year later, but 6 months, I did my another blood work test in January of 25. And they're like, there's all of my cancer markers, all my blood work, everything is back in normal range. And I feel amazing. I'm actually more healthier than I am now at 52 than I was in my first 50 years of life,
Hmm.
because I understood the power of the mind. So when I talk about the wealth code, I'm not just talking about wealth as in the context of money. Will it apply for money? Abso-freaking-lutely. Will it apply for health? Abso-freaking-lutely. Will it apply for self-expression? Some of you are going to come and you're going to feel like, I feel choked off. I don't feel like I can be myself. I don't know if I can use my voice. Do you have a book inside of you? Do you have a business inside of you? Whatever is inside of you that needs to come out. So that's one point I want to talk about. Yes, my talk is called the Wealth Code. It's just more about what's going on in your mind that is they're invisible barriers. They're there to give you a clue of you're off track a little bit about your true path in life. I look at it as, the analogy I use is your gas light coming on your car. Your gas light comes on your car. You don't stop on the side of the road, scream and yell and cry and not move and say, I'm stuck here and I can't. No, what do? You go put freaking gas in your car. So it's the same type of thing. Some of us get so stuck in our shiitake mushrooms that we think that we're literally trapped on the side of the room. Or maybe it's that annoying, I have a smoke alarm right here, annoying 3 a.m. battery. Why do they go off at 3 a.m.? Is it because we changed them at 3 a.m. or are they set to only go off at 3 a.m.? And they all sound the same, so you don't know which one is going off. It's the same thing. We don't burn our house down. We don't move because that smoke alarm gets off. And we don't also, some of us will sit here and stare at it and think that it's going to change itself. It's not. What do we have to do? So we need to, what we're going to be talking about, the wealth code is about how to stop those automatics of you staring at the smoke alarm that's going off. Let's take some action. Now I'm not going to be able to do this at the talk. My talk is like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, 30 minutes, but I'm going to get you more into that, is for you to find what's that battery that's beeping, what need didn't get met, what identity is suppressed, so you can get on the freaking ladder, take out the battery and start over until what? You want to go to the next level. And then what happens? The little smoke alarm goes off again. So we're going to be talking about the automatics. We're going to be talking about the money story, because your money story could also be your health story, right? It could be your self-expression story. It could be, so I'm going to talk about it in the context of wealth, but we're going to prep it that it could be for anything. Anybody can come talk to me, because I've done it with relationships. I've done it with self-expression. I've done it with business. I've done it with money. I've done it with health. And it's shocking to me that I'm like, wow, it worked again. Wow, it worked again. And this is my mission, is to go out into the world and to support women to raise their vibration, to understand that you do not have, I'm not going to also let you argue for your limitations anymore. So if you want to come hang out, they call me Spicy Jen. Because I just did a presentation and I was like, well, I mean, I'll do that and I'll give you your money back if you don't get the results, but then I'm going to tell you why you're asking you for your money back. And I've never had anybody ask for their money back, because they realize that it's their mindset around it, right? They realize that they deserve to step into their true genius. And it's just my mission for you to no longer, for you to be able to heal the most vulnerable judgment you have about yourself. So you can step out and be great. You can step into your genius. You can step out there and raise the vibration of the world. Step out and be the powerful, whatever version of you that is out there to be. And it all comes to rewiring your wealth code, which is the name of my talk. But it's just rewiring the stories that are yours to get your true genius to come out. Solve, get that need and have that identity come out. So that's a lot of stuff to cover in my talk time. And it'll get you enough thinking so that you understand that you can do those things.
Yeah, I love it, Jen. I'm looking forward to it. And so if anybody wants to go out and grab your ticket, you can go out to CamiGellner.com/ignite, and you can land on the page and grab your ticket. We've got early bird tickets going right now. So go out and grab your early bird tickets. Jen, where can people learn more about you?
Yes. So the best place to learn about me personally is probably my LinkedIn. So it's Jenn Beninger. It's Jenn. It's Jen with 2 N's, JennBeninger. You can find me on LinkedIn. That is the best place. Genius Unlocked has a YouTube channel that I do a lot of these type of things. It's Genius Unlocked. It's like a DNA strand, purple and blue DNA strand, as you make sure that you're on the right channel. And you'll hear from that. But other than that, I also a teacher on Insight Timer. So if you want to hear some of the ways that we reprogram your mind, you can find me there. I didn't know that.
I'll have to go listen to those. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a teacher. So it's under my name on Insight Timer. I love those type of things too.
Me too.
And really the best way to come and connect is to get your ticket. And you know what? Bring a friend.
Yeah.
Bring
absolutely.
a friend.
It's always more fun, right?
Find someone that says, look, this is how I got into personal development. And literally, this is how I moved to Italy. My roommate in college was like, hey, I'm going to go do a semester in Italy. Come with me. I said, okay. And I signed up that day. Like I went and did 6 months in Italy in college. Bring a friend. It's more fun. So say, hey, look, I'm going to go to this event. It's in Colorado. We're going to drive together. We're going to fly together. We're going to Uber together. We're going to get a hotel room together if you guys have to travel. But bring a friend. So get 2 tickets. Come along. And because it's really important when you come to an amazing event, especially if this event is this successful. I did not realize it's 11 years that you've
11 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I'm super honored to be there on 11 years. But if you can think about it, if she's been doing this for 11 years, you can presuppose that it's very successful and people get a lot of things out of it. So
Yeah,
if
we've got
you
a
know
lot of
that,
return people. A lot of people come back year on year because they love it
so
so
bring
much.
your friend so you have somebody to talk about all the amazingness with. If people, have you ever
Yeah.
gone to an event alone and been like, oh, I don't have anybody to talk to?
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to make new friends. Of course you are going to make new friends, but bring a friend. So when you go back into your space, you're like, oh my God, remember when Jen talked about that? Remember when Kami talked about that? Remember when that speaker talked about that? Remember when we talked about that? Remember that VIP session that we did? Always go VIP. Go to the VIP session. You want to bring somebody to take that home with. So bring your spouse, bring your sister, bring your brother, bring your kid, bring your friends, bring your clients. Just come and have a good time with us. And please, anybody that would like to, please come find me. I'm extremely approachable and I will 1,000,000% talk to each and every single one of you. I'm not one of those speakers that walks in and then speaks and then leaves. I will be there the entire time. I will be there to talk to anybody about anything. But bring a friend and come hang out with us. So I hope that was
Oh,
okay to say that.
totally. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's the hotel's going to be brand spanking new. It's all being remodeled this year. So by the time November rolls around, the whole hotel is going to be remodeled. So it's going to be shiny,
I'm so
bright and new.
excited.
And yeah, it's going to be beautiful views. And yeah, so it's going to be an awesome week. And I can't wait to see you then, Jen. And
Perfect.
thanks for
Thanks
joining
for the
me
time.
today.
I appreciate it.
You bet.